Hi guys, welcome to my first tutorial. This is Colin. I'm going to do parallax occlusion mapping using GIMP and putting it into the CryEngine SDK. Being as my first tutorial, it might be a little bit sketchy, but this is the technique I used to get this to work with GIMP. I sort of hashed it together through watching Photoshop once. Basically you can see here's two objects, both the same parameters on them. One has just got the plain brick texture on it, and the one on the left has got the parallax occlusion, and the effect is good. It makes it seem like it's a 3D sort of side to the wall of that shape. It's a very clever effect, whoever came up with it. For this tutorial you're going to need GIMP, which I imagine you've probably already got if you're watching this tutorial, but if not, type in GIMP on Google and there's a download section and just download the latest release. You'll also need the GIMP normal map plugin, and again if you just type it into Google, I used the top link, this code.google one, and when you click on it you can go to the downloads tab, and I just chose the top one and extracted the files to the plugins for GIMP, and you have it. And the last thing you need is CryBlend, which there's a tutorial on how to get it on YouTube. If you type in CryBlend install, all one word, it should be your top link, and it's about a 7-minute tutorial, and it will explain how to get a exporter for CryTIFFs without needing Photoshop. So hopefully you've either got them all already or you've now gone and got those bits and installed them, and we'll make a start. The first thing we need is a texture. So again I'm going to do brick. I'm going to do a little bit different to the last one you just saw. So type in brick tileable texture, go to images. At the bottom on Google you can choose the size of the images you're going to look at, and we need one that's going to be 512 pixels by 512 pixels. You can resize them yourself in GIMP or find them however you want, but I'm just doing it this way because it's a bit faster. And I'm going to use a simple, this one's quite good, simple sort of texture for this tutorial, just so we can get the effect to work, and you can play around with more complicated stuff later on. So copy your texture once you've found it, open up GIMP, and once you're inside, if you go to edit at the top, paste as, and new image, and we have our texture. We can save this one straight away, and the saving of these files, it's quite important that we put the same finish on, not the same finish, a very specific finish on each of our file names. So you can call the initial part whatever you like. I've gone for brick 01. But you're going to need _diff for the first image, and I'll go into a bit more detail about that in a bit, but just make sure it's got _diff. I'm going to save mine to my desktop. If you go to select file type down here at the bottom, and if you go down to TIFFs, and on mine I've got two, one's blank, one has the extensions, use the one with the extensions and save it. And the default compression's fine, and there we have it. I have it saved to my desktop. So the next thing we need to do is use the CryTIFF exporter that I said about at the beginning that you need to get. So if you fire it up, open file, find the texture you've just saved, open it up, and go to show UI at the top and click go. And in here you can either use diffuse low quality or high quality. I'm going to use high quality for this tutorial. Generate output and click OK. And we can minimize this the CryTIFF exporter thing because we're going to be using it throughout the tutorial. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is create the normal map. So on our picture we're going to go to filters, map, normal map, and it gives us a little display of what it's going to look like, and we're just going to change the filter to 7 by 7, and leave the rest as it is, and click OK, and we'll save that one. I'm going to put mine back on the desktop, and this time once again it's very important that it has underscore DDN at the end of this normal map. Very important that it is DDN, underscore DDN. Default compression is fine, and save that one, and it jumps onto the desktop. And once again we need to use the Krytof exporter, so we will open it up again, open file, find our normal map, and show UI, click go, and it's already given us normal map low quality, which is handy because that's the one we wanted. But if it hasn't, just open up the drop down menu and choose normal map low Q, generate the output and click OK, and we have our next .ddn file that's been created. So we can undo the normal map in GIMP, returning us to our original texture, and the next thing we're going to create is the specular image, and we're going to go to colors, colorize, we're going to bring the saturation down to 0, and we're going to bring the lightness down a bit because it's a bit of a bright texture. -25 is fine for mine. Play around with it a bit for yourselves, and we're going to save that one, and because this is the specular image, it's going to be underscore spec. Again, very important that it is underscore spec, SPEC, and it's still .tiffs. It's going to be .tiffs for all of these images, and yeah, you can call the beginning of the image anything you like, but make sure the end of it is underscore spec. So we'll save that one, and again default compression's fine, and we're going to again hop back into the Krytof exporter, find our specular image, show UI, click go, and this time we want to go to specular low Q, and once you've chosen it, generate the output and click OK, and it's popped onto the desktop. So once again we can undo our colorize, bringing it back to the original image, and this time we're going to create this only slightly more complicated layer, which is going to be the displacement layer, well, not layer, image. And for this we're going to go to this right hand panel, we're going to right click in the white, and we're going to click new layer. We can name it anything we like, but we need to change the layer fill type to white, and once you've got that, click OK, and it overwrites or dominates the original layer. So we want to change the opacity just up here down to about half, so we can see the original image, and we're going to choose ourselves a paintbrush, trying to find one of a similar size to the cracks in between the bricks, and we are going to be painting black over these cracks. And obviously if it was wider, choose a big brush, but these are quite thin, so I'm just going to go ahead and paint these. And you could probably want to take your time and be quite neat with this, but for the tutorial I'm just going to rush through it, and it will still give us the desired effect to show you how it sort of works. Oh, my hand is not very steady, but never mind. Colour that in, a little bit down there, and there we go. We can now bring the opacity of this image back up to 100%, and we can get rid of our original layer because we don't need that texture anymore. We've got it saved and we know we're not going to need it, so you can right click, delete layer, and we're just left with this new one that we've created. Now the way this layer works, this image is going to work, it's going to run off the alpha channel, and it's already given us an alpha channel which is just white, but we don't want it to be just white. I'm not sure if you have to get rid of it in order to do the next effect, but I normally do. So I go to right click, remove alpha channel, and we want to create our own one. So we go to colors, layers, layer, and transparency, and we've got the option color to alpha, and when we choose that it will bring up this display box, and at the moment you can see the white has become invisible and the black lines are still there, but we want it, instead of being from white to alpha, we want to change it to be from black to alpha. So you move the cursor down so that it's 0, 0, 0, 0 and pure black, and choose OK, and as you can see now the white is visible and the black lines have now become the transparent section. So we click OK, and it should have created our alpha channel, which again we can view in this right panel, and as you see now, instead of just being white, it is now displaying our original layer image. I normally turn off the RGB because it did in one of the other tutorials I watched and I haven't tried without. I'm not sure if it makes any difference or not, but it certainly doesn't hurt to turn them off. And in a way it reminds you to do something in a minute, so do that. So now they're looking the same. We are going to save our image, and this time it's very important again that it's displ, D-I-S-P-L, short for displacement, and very, very important that they are named in this way. Can't express it enough, so underscore displ. Save the image, compression's fine, and we've got it on the desktop, so we'll just open up our Creative Explorer again and find our latest image. There we go. Show the UI and open it up, and then this time, third from the bottom, you have displacement map. We want to choose that, and it's initially going to go white because it's looking for the RGB, which we've turned off, hence this is the reminder. If you turn them off you get a white image, so it will remind you to select alpha because we want it to read off the alpha channel. So now we've got our image there, so we can generate the output and click OK.